Okay, we're live. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I'm back today. This kicks off a series of bi-monthly mixed media Mondays. So I'm going to make sure that I am on the right network here before we get started. I am. I hope everything's okay. If you do join and you pop on, please say hello and let me know where you're watching from. I would really appreciate that. So if you joined the Creative Course Collab yesterday and if you were present for my segment or watched it on replay, you will remember that I didn't finish my project. And so I wanted to make sure that I did that today. And if this looks a little different from when I did this yesterday, you're right, it is a little different. And so let me just show you tell you what I did. So the background was looking a little too dark for me. And so I did a wash of white paint and water. That's all I did. Hello, Shannon. Thank you for saying hello. Thank you for being here. And so I did a wash of white paint. And then this was also not quite the right color. And so what I did was I went over my crock with a coat of titanium white acrylic paint. And then I just wiped back some of it. So you'll notice that I have a little more shadowing over here. And then I restamped it and, did that. Jan, hello, how are you? And Sheila is here too. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Or ladies, I should say. Thank you so much. So that's where I'm at. And so today what we're going to do, you're going to see me cover this up again, but I want to paint these hydrangea. And I was thinking about the watercolor and I just think I want to just do this in acrylic. So I hope you guys won't be disappointed. It would just be so much to do in here. And I think that this might be actually a better way to do it. My lighting is a little funny. So I'm going to, I went ahead, I decided that I wanted to do blue hydrangea. And I'm going to show you this is a really easy way to do this. I'm not even going to pretend that this is fine art, but bear with me. I'm going to show you a simple way to paint these out. So I'm going to do the hydrangea first, and then we're going to do the leaves. And then, yes, we will be stamping them again. So I've got a couple of colors of blue paint here. I've got some greens too, and I've got some other colors over here that we might use for the background. So let me pull this up so that you can just see the project. Let's see if this works. Hold on. That way you're looking at that. Is that better? I hope that's better. And I can move my light over so you can see a little better. There. Okay. So I'm going to start with a darker color. So I'm going to get the one color that I didn't grab was my white. So I'm going to grab that real quick. So I have my white. I always have a big one of that and black because I use it a lot. So let's just get some colors out here onto my palette. I'm going to do a little white. And I'm going to put these blues on here. This is cerulean blue. And these are just, the little basic Liquitex paints. This is phthalo, let's see. This is phthalo cayenne or cyan blue. So I'm going to do that. This is the darkest. This is, I'm sorry, this first one was cobalt blue. This is cerulean blue. So I'm going to do that one. And then I've got a little bit of a light blue violet because I always notice in the blue hydrangeas that they have just a little bit of a violet tint in them most of the time. And so what I'm going to do is I'm using a small little stencil brush and I'm going to dip in to that and I'm going to just start doing this. So hang in there with me because I think that this is an easy way to do these. And so I'm pouncing. I'm going to go for fairly full coverage on this layer. And I'm sure I'm going to need more. But I'm just pouncing in there. Can you see that? And just going up I'm going to go around my edges really well. What I did on this before I started, before we went live, was that I went ahead and coated this with another coat of clear gesso. And the gesso is what's going to give it the tooth. Okay, so I need that dark blue again. I'm going through a lot of this. I'll have to get more of this color, maybe in a big one. We'll see. Okay, so I'm just pouncing. I want to pay attention to where my leaves are. And I'm going to go all over the whole thing. So when I think about this, I think I want to go from dark to light with this. And I am happy with my crock, a lot better actually. So just taking this, I could have used a bigger stencil brush for this, but that's okay. I'm going to need even more. Okay. All right. So we have this. And how are you guys doing? Did you see the Creative Course Collab? I know you did, Sheila, and Jan, I'm not sure how much of it you were able to watch. Shannon, did you get to watch any of it? It was fun to see all the projects that everyone did. I really enjoyed that a lot. Okay, so we're going to get this on here. And just pouncing. Okay, and now I want to come up here and make sure that I'm getting over to those edges. And I know you're thinking, my gosh, this is like the third time you have painted over this, but here we go. All right, let's start with this one a little bit and mix that with a little. And I'm going to pick up just a little bit of white, get more of that dark color here. And we're going to start adding to this. Again, just stippling. I don't want to cover up all the dark, but you can see how we're starting to just get those. And we'll do this a couple of times with different hues. And I thought this was just a very quick and simple way to do this. Already it's starting to me, can you see the little hydrangea starting to come out of this? Okay. All right, so we are, now I'm going to pick up a little of the white and this blue. We're going to go even a little bit lighter. And I'm going to start to add in. And so we're getting more. Just like this. And then we'll add our blue violet and some highlights and then restamp. But I think this is a simple way. Is it realistic? No, but I think you get the absolute gist of it and it still works. So I'm going to let this be a little bit darker over here. So as I go to this area, I'm going to go a little bit darker. And then we're just pouncing, 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 pouncing. Okay. And now I want to pick up a little bit of this, and it is mixed with a little bit of the blue. And I'm going to come in here and we're just going to add some of that purple. I always notice a little bit of a purple in the blue hydrangeas. We actually have a couple of large hydrangea bushes. One of them is, the blooms are pink, and I think it's because of the pH, and the others are blue, and they're really beautiful. And then we also have the limelight as well. So The clear gesso is, oh, that's okay. It would be better if you had the white gesso, Sheila, because of course I was looking for it yesterday while I was on the live. And you know what I found this morning? My white gesso right in the cart where I thought it should be. And it was not. So the white gesso is, if you remember from yesterday, we stamped the image, then filled it in with white gesso so that we could paint over it. And I decided that I was going to, I'm going to actually come over here a little bit and do this and see how that'll work out. So now I even want to go a little bit lighter. So I'm going to pick this up, and I'm actually going to pick up a little bit of the blue too. And we're just going to mix some colors with a little bit of white. I want to get something really light. So I think the white gesso, so gesso is used to prime your canvas, or if you're using a lot of water mediums and things like that, you can, it will also go over and allow you to paint over it. So imagine that you wanted to maybe watercolor over decoupage paper, then you can coat it with, I would do clear gesso in that instance, and then it's ready for you to paint over. So you don't always need, especially with watercolor, you don't always need expensive like watercolor ground or anything like that. Although I love watercolor ground, and it allows you, watercolor ground will allow you to paint on even wood. So I want to add just a little bit more of this here, and then you'll see how this comes together. So I'm picking up lots of different colors, and we're just going to get some shading in here. Okay, just some variation in color. I'm going to pounce. Okay, I think I like that. And so what I want to do is I want to kind of outline these, but instead of using this gray again, I'm going to actually try this with the paint. So I'm going to use this, the darkest blue, and I'm going to try to do this just over the hydrangea. Let me see if I can do that. And we'll stamp with the acrylic paint. All right, so I'm going to kind of follow my, using a small brayer. Okay. And now what I want to do is I'm going to go over this. Whoops. And I'm going to, I have it like, let me see where I've got it. Where did I do that? Okay, just like that. So I'm going to, yeah, it is way low. So I went way over my leaves, but that's okay. Okay, and then I'm going to take another one and just kind of brayer that in. And let's see how we like this. So now I get a little definition in those, and I'm going to grab the masks for this. 1 second. Okay. So I need the mask for this, and I'm going to have to dry this off real quick. But I get a little definition in there, and I'll go over and stamp that area, or we'll just fill in with white for that leaf, and then I don't have to worry about that. Okay. But I thought the blue would be a better option for this. So I'm going to go here and put my mask down right where that is. And then we're going to load this up again. with this, and then let's figure out where I just have to line up my leaves. So I think this one was it like this, or was it, I'm trying to figure out where I did that. How did I do that? How did I do that? All right, I have 2 leaves here. All right, that I think, well, no, that's not quite it either. So I think I went like this. All right, let's do that. And I'll use this one to go over. Okay. This one isn't, I'm going to have to put a lot more pressure on that. Maybe that my paint dried and it's pulling it up. But I'm still getting that shading. So here I've got a couple of areas that are not as sticking to the paint. It is a little bit. So I'm going to just kind of mask I'm just going to kind of be careful and just add a little paint to an area. And let's see if we can kind of push that in place. Yep. And then let's do that over here too. And fill in. But now I think that we get that it's, like I said, it's not fine art, but it is, I think they're good. So I want to do the same kind of thing with my leaves. And I can work with this a little bit, but I think you get the gist if I pull this up, that they are hydrangea. Okay. And so I'm going to do the same kind of thing. I have a phthalo green, which is kind of bright, kind of dark. I don't know. What else have I got? I have a hooker's green, hue permanent. And I've got my white over there. And then I have a light green permanent. And yeah, I guess I'll just do these. Let's see what we got. Okay. Let's see what we have. And I'm going to get another stencil brush out. Okay. And I'm going to do the same kind of thing in here, but I'm going to start with I was supposed to start with the darkest, but I didn't. So I'm going to come in here and just kind of fill in. Just stippling on with the stencil brush. I also thought this might be better because then I wouldn't have to worry about spraying a fixative over this. I'm going to add in a little bit of the really dark green. I'm going to pick up a little white. So this is just kind of I want variation in color, but I don't need it to be perfect. So this is more of the blue green, and I'm going to come up here into my flowers, and then I'm going to pick up this and bring that in. Pick up some of this green. Pick up some of this. I'm going to pretend that that's a leaf because I kind of messed up in there. So really just stippling in your different colors. Just adding them in. I want a little bit more of that light green. These are pretty bright. I don't want them to be the exact color of the table, so I might add even a little of this brilliant yellow green. Yes, I did. This is the the garden bouquet stamp that just came out by IOD Sheila. And I'm so glad you can go right to the Creative Course Collab Facebook page and see all of the videos in one place. So yesterday they were hopping around, we were hopping around, but now you can see all of the tutorials in one place. And so if you go to the Creative Course Collab Facebook page, just search it. It is right there, and you can see everyone's tutorial online. So now what I'm going to do is just make this a little bit easier, and I'm just going to kind of mix the colors a little bit. Pick up some of that. Just a little color variation. I'm not sure what you call this style, but I like it. I think it works okay. And if this is I think this actually may be part of my crock. So I may have to, I got a little confused, but that's okay. That's one thing I like about this type of thing is that, you know, you can just you can fix it, right? So the stamp in the background is the new ephemeral type stamp, which I love, love, love. And this one is just one of the images from the garden bouquet stamp. All right, so that is definitely up here. I think this is part of my crock. And so I'll know as soon as I, do I want a little something else? I'm just going through I'm just gonna pick up a little bit and a little bit of white. And let's just make something kind of fun. Let's just add a little bit of white in there. And okay, and so now what I want to do is go ahead and stamp the leaves. I did my stamp right over here. And for this, I am going to go ahead and I was going to use the Newgrass ink, but I don't feel like it's going to show as much. And I don't mind I was going to use this color, but I think it's too close to what we're working with. And so I'm going to go ahead and ink this, just the leaves with the stone gray. And then that's going to help me see if I went right over my crock. Okay, so we'll go here. I want to try to avoid that stem. So I'm using the corner of my stamp pad to get up close in there. And I want to try to avoid the stem. So I'll turn this around a little bit and see if I can just get in there. So just with this corner is what I'm using to ink this with. All right, let's see if this works. Okay, so now I'm going to come, oops, hold on. Okay, so I'm going to first do this. Yeah. See if I got that. So that's pretty good. And then let me find my mask again. I set that aside and I'm going to go ahead and place that down there, just like that. And then we'll do these leaves, and this will help me to know if I have gone over on my crock. What is your favorite, what are your favorite stamps from the new release, or even just your favorite products? What were you so excited to see? I thought it was a great release. And I'm really excited about it. Okay, so now we're going to do this. I'm going to do this one. And then this one is a little off, but I'm going to figure out a way to make it work, I think. I'm just going to push right in there. And let's see if that worked. I can always go over it. It's not too bad. I think it's fine. And then I'm just going to clean up a little bit. I can always go over this with a little paint. All right. So now we've restamped it, and we've got our hydrangeas and our leaves done. And I like the blue of this better. It isn't perfect, but I think that we can all tell that it looks less of a blue blob, and I think you can tell that it has some hydrangea. I think that we can take a little brush, and I'll pick up some of this blue paint if I can get it, if it's not too dried out. Yeah, it's a little too dried out. I can add a lot of water to this, and then we can fill in a little bit. I want to get quite a bit of water on here. And so I can just kind of come in and fill in even a little bit more with my finger. Might need to go a little less water, actually. And just get a little more interest in there. Add just a little more color and dab it with my finger. Okay, so those are our hydrangeas. Now, the table now seems, I'd love to know what your ideas. Thank you so much. Yes, I loved it all too. Yes, stone gray ink and the, yes, so I used the blue acrylic paint to stamp the hydrangea, and then the stone gray ink is what I use to stamp the leaves on the crock. So now I have this table and I love it, but with all this green, it feels like it's a little too much. So I wanted to try something. I'm going to just move some things over here. I had the idea to stain the table and see if that wouldn't bring it down a little bit in shade. So I could do a wash of brown paint, but I really do love the gel stain. And so, but I want to make sure that I have a glove on when I do this. So I'm going to do that. So I'm just going to be using a gel stain. The only thing is that I haven't, I'm going to do some water in it because I think this is only sealed with gesso, and I don't know how that's going to react to the stain. So I'm going to give it a whirl because I can just paint over it if I want. But I want to, thank you, Sue, welcome. I'm going to just do a little, this is an English walnut stain. This is by Amy Howard at Home. And so I had the idea that maybe if I could just tone this down a little bit, that I would maybe like it a little bit better. I want to be careful too. So I'm just using a seawool sponge, and I've watered down my stain. And even though that's a little streaky, it's kind of like using a glaze a little bit. When you add water to a gel stain, you can often use them as a glaze. So I'm just going to pounce and kind of come in here, and maybe I'll go back with the chippy paint stamp and add some other color. But I do like that that's softened a little bit. Oh, I love all the hydrangeas, Jan. I just love them. So I think I'm going to, well, let me dry this off before I go too far. Sometimes we need to stop and just leave well enough alone, but I am going to, not like in the buildup. So I'm going to just kind of spread that out a little bit. So I do like that it's a little more aged, and I think it's a little more subtle. And now the hydrangea really pops. I think my leaves are maybe a little too bright, but I think that they actually go with the bright blue of the hydrangea as well. And I could go in and add more white or whatever I want to do. But I want to really, what I'm trying to do is make sure I don't stick my elbow in this stain, you guys. So that's what I'm really trying to do. Oh my goodness. And okay, so let's, I'm so glad, Jan. I think the, it's always like a little bit, I think it's a quick way to do little hydrangeas is just to use like a little sponge dauber or to do the little thing that we did. So I'm not loving how neutral the background is. And I'm going to see if I can, I've got another little thing here. So I'm going to switch out my plastic mats and see what I can do here. So I was kind of looking at my color wheel and I kind of thought, like blue and orange are, complementary. And then I was thinking, well, but I've got really kind of like this green here and I've got that green going, but I'm thinking of doing something with a little bit just to, I don't know if I'm going to like this, but I think I'm going to try it. So I'm going to try mixing a few little colors and let's see what we come up with. So I have burnt sienna, which is always good. I love it. And then I have a yellow ochre, which I also love, a little more subtle, and they're not really the same, they don't have the same tones as this, but I'm not sure that that's a bad thing. I have a little red oxide, so I will put that here. And I thought about just using a lot of water and doing a little wash, but I want to kind of test it out on another sheet, just like on a little piece of paper. All right, so let's test this out and see what we think. All right, we'll just play with some color and see what we come up with. And I could use, I've got another sponge over here, so I could use that. I don't want to lose all of this, but I just think that, I don't know, I'm just not loving it. So I'm going to go ahead and add some water to these. And let's see what we can come up with. I've got a brighter yellow too. But if I could get something like this, I think that's too much. And if it could kind of, I don't know, like right now I'm just kind of playing, guys. But if I could get something like this, but maybe we just do it in sections. I don't want it to be all orange. I do want there to be some variation in color, but I think that might be too much. So I think I need to dip this in some water and rinse that out and grab a baby wipe so I can grab something before it becomes a problem. And let's just start over here and just add some subtle bits. It's sticking over here onto the masking tape. So that's where it's really showing up strong. And then maybe we can add a little bit of other color to this. I just know that I don't want to lose the typography, and I'm not loving just all the gray behind it. And it can be something I could even try. I wonder if I just scrape some on, if that would like work better. It's not really, just kind of want to give it the impression of it. I just want a little interest. Do you need to save me from myself, or do you think we're on to something? Let me know. And then I can add a little yellow. So I'm basically just getting a little kind of a suggestion of color back here. Let me know what you think. Are we heading for a train wreck, or do you think, I don't know, I'm liking some of the, I like this color. So yellow is always really pretty. So let's go with something. Do I have a brighter one? Yes, I have cadmium yellow. So let's do a little cadmium yellow that I can mix in here. I just want a little hint of color back there. So maybe if we can add all of the colors back here and get a little yellow too, and then let's go pick it up. So it's adding just a subtle background. Let me know what colors you would have chosen. Oh, good. I'm so glad, Sheila. Thank you for letting me know. It's just a little bit of color, and I can go darker and then lighter. But now I feel like it's not so, I feel like you get that suggestion, right, of the color. And I think we'll really notice it when we take the tape off. I think that's when we're really going to notice. So I'll probably need some more water. So I'm just tapping in here, trying to be careful not to go over my flowers. See if I can find a clean. I don't know what I would do without baby wipes. I use them every day. Do you? So this is really nice. I think adding the yellow was really helpful for this. Really, really helpful for this. And I think I need a little bit more here. I need some more water. And I'm going to dip into these colors just a little bit more. Just let it sit for a little bit longer. So I like this because I'm not losing any of the typography at all. And I can take a little wet brush. I'm not losing any of that typography. And then I'll go in with a little artist brush. But I like this so much better than the gray. You just never know when you're playing with the colors and they all come together. But I like that that's more vibrant. And the mix of colors are really nice. So I can even add some white gesso if I want to just add a little more texture. Just going to keep going. All right, let me get out a little brush. Okay, and we're going to pick up some of this. The baby white just helps keep it really subtle. So I've got these white areas up here where the gray areas, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I kind of want to fill them in. Just areas where I couldn't get close enough with this. Got another little spot here. Okay. So what do we think? Do we need to add something? What would you add? I did draw the crock, Sheila. I stamped my flowers first, and then that allows me to kind of figure out, well, how wide do I want it you know, how tall. And I actually could have come down a little bit because the hydrangeas are going to run off right up at the top. I think they might be cut off a little bit by my tape. But you just draw 2 little lines and then a little smiley face. I actually learned that little croc technique from Lynn at L&J Goods years ago. So you can, if you wanted to do more of like a French pot, the one that I found that I really like, because I had done the croc, so I thought, what else could I do? Is you just make it a little narrower, and again, just the little half smile face down there. So let's see. I think I'm trying to think if there's anything. I want to see if adding a little white will make any difference. Where is my big white tube? I had it out here, you guys, because I always have white. What did I do with it? Ah, it's right here. All right, so let's get a little white and just see if maybe that's something that we can add just a little texture. So this might be something we're trying, and it's just maybe scraping. Sometimes I do like that. It makes it look as if it's just kind of an old plaster or something like that, right? And I can pick some of that up with another baby wipe. Yes, from Lynn. Yep. So, and I can soften it up a little bit with the baby wipe. Oh, I like that. It gives it like a little plaster appearance. I really like that. I'm going to take off this right here. And I like that it gives it just a little bit of that plaster appearance. If I brush this on, I know that I would be a little heavy-handed and I would get it everywhere I didn't want it to go. So I'm just softening up that paint and picking it up. It's giving me some other colors and to me, I guess it feels like plastic. Oh my gosh, a poor bird just flew into our window. That's always so scary. So I do like that. I'll just do a little here and up here, and then we'll pull the tape and see what we think. So this just softens it a little bit. But I love that we haven't lost any of the typography in the background, really. It's just kind of, it's really nice and subtle. So I really like that. I don't have to do that. I might do more around here. Just use the texture from all the layers that I have on there, and we'll pick that up. So that softens it even more. The croc is painted to look textured. I do kind of the same technique with the sponge, Sheila, and then I use the crackle stamp to just add some crackle to it before the number. But it definitely has a little bit of texture because a sponge, or even just the way you pick it up with plastic wrap or something like that, can really make a difference. I'm excited to pull the tape, you guys. I'm either going to be thrilled or taping it up again. But I think I'm going to like it. Sometimes you just wake up and you're just like, nope, not the direction I want to go. And it's just paint. And I know we say that, but like, especially acrylic paint, you can get, all kinds of craft paints, and, they're not like, fine watercolor or anything like that. So I think I just need a little more back here. So typically I would do this with gesso, but the white paint's working out just as well. Okay, what do we think? Do we need any more anywhere? I'm going to use the paint on here to, I do feel like I need a little shadow shading over here. So I feel like I want to darken this up a little bit. And I need kind of a brown. So I'm going to see if I can make a brown with some of this red oxide and a green and see if I can do that. So let me see if I can mix these two together and get a brown. I don't know what I'm going to get, but it should work. It should work. But let's see what we get, guys. Okay, I don't have enough green in there. That's too much green, but let's see what we can do. I do have that burnt sienna, but oh, I'm just making a mess over here. Hold on. Not enough. Not enough of the burnt sienna. It's starting to, let's see, let's make a little. The red and green can usually make a brown. So let's see if I just do a slight bit. Yeah, it's getting there. It's kind of a rusty color. I'm going to add just a little. I think that's pretty good. So this is our, so see, we've made this brown right here. And that's what I wanted, but I've got to get those. I'm going to need a new brush because I've got so much paint on that one. So let me just use a little, I'm going to spray some water in here. And I'm going to just make sure I've got that pretty well mixed. Get a lot of water. And I'm going to need a new baby wipe and a different area of my I'm just going to just a little bit of a brush here. I'm sorry, I'm doing this. So we're just going to do a little more and then just add a little shadow down here. Pick this up before it dries. Just a little more. I'd rather keep adding than have to go too far, right? Let me give this a little in here, just a little more definition here. Just kind of bringing that in. I'm just keeping that in there, and I think it's pretty good. I can always play with it a little bit more. But I think, are we ready to take off the tape? What do you think? Should we do it? All right. Let's take off this tape. And then we're going to take off, what's next? I'll do this long side. Ready? Ah, my tape is sticking. We're going to pull this one. And then we're going to pull this one. So see, my hydrangea went all the way up to the top, but that's fine. I could have sealed it while the tape was still on, but I think I'm going to let this dry and then I'll seal it. And then I think that we are good. I'm trying to find, okay, I think we're good. So this is where we got, guys. I think I definitely like it so much better than where I left off yesterday. And I do love the background a lot better. So it's not all gray. And I could play with these for days, but I think it's fine. I think it's just fine. So I will probably seal with a matte medium, but I'm thinking I may use semi-gloss as well. So a matte medium is a fluid medium that you can add to your acrylic paints. It'll increase the translucency and the working time of your paints. And the fluid mediums come in the different sheens. So you can get the one in the matte, you can get it in semi-gloss and gloss. So I am not sure. What do you think? Should we do matte or should we do semi-gloss? Let me know what you think. I'm not sure. If you have a vote, let me know in the comments, and because this has got to dry a little bit. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you again so much for joining us with the Creative Course Collab and for coming back on here today to work through the project with me. I really appreciate it. So I'll be putting out the vote for Wednesday's live tomorrow, and I know it's going to be pumpkins, but I'll try to give some choices on what we do with them. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. Wherever you are, I hope you're well. I hope you have AC, and I hope you're doing great. So I will see you soon. Thanks again so very much. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.